but like she didn't really mean it. I think also that, the last time we saw her, like you watched the reunion last year where she said things are better than ever. So I also like that this is the only franchise so far that is breaking the fourth wall. Like normally they say like, well, in New York, like Salt Lake is even doing that. Like, well, when we were last in New York, like you were in New York for the reunion, just call it what it is. I actually
Yeah.
like that they're saying BravoCon, watch what happens,
Yes.
Amazon Live. Like that's what the Kardashians do. I mean, they show them walking down the street with 8 million paparazzi. Like that is reality. Like, so
Yeah.
you know what I mean? It's just like a little touch that I like that they're like when we were at the reunion, not like when we were in
Yeah.
New York.
For living in Beverly Hills, where a lot of people are really fake with the plastic surgery and everything, I mean, these bitches are as real as they come. I mean, even I love all of them right now. I'm getting, a feel for which ones I like more. Obviously, we all have our favorites, but I'm like really mellow and like neutral right now with all of them. I like some more than other. I think everybody's gonna fall in love with Jennifer Tilly. She's amazing. She's like that friend that everybody wants. She's just good vibes all around.
She's good vibes all around. I also find it interesting, and I don't know if you have like a thought between these two, but I find it interesting too. Like, so in that scene, they're showing the split screen or like back and forth, they're showing like PK with Mauricio, and he's saying, like, Dorit doesn't really listen, which is her reputation that she just talks and talks and talks. He's saying she doesn't really listen, and maybe like the PTSD, some of it is dramatic. And then she's just like the exact opposite sitting there. And also, like, way to just out it all, Dorit. She's like, PK's an alcoholic, full blown. He's in the program. He's in this week. He has to dry out. Like, I mean, she's not. But I think it's funny how they both do have like a different story.
Yes, yes. And as we, I mean, we're talking about it now, but as we get a little further into it, yes, it's so funny to see both sides as to why they're separating because it's totally different. She's saying one reason and he's saying another. And I think it was just like how crazy, like what really took me back, like, I just couldn't believe. So, okay, I love that Dorit is being real and honest and she's throwing it all out there. I mean, but at the same time, she's sitting here talking about, and PK said it too, they're keeping the divorce from the children. They're not really exposing them to everything because, of course, number one, they're children and they just don't want to be like that towards one another. But at the same time, here's Dorit telling the whole world on national television that he's an alcoholic. So it's just like, are we going to protect the kids or are we going to throw it all out there? Because that's very harsh. And of course, nowadays with social media, little kids find it all out. So it was just kind of ironic that, in one breath, she said, we're going to keep it from the kids. But at the same time, she's calling their father an alcoholic for the whole world to see. So that was a bit cringe.
That was a big cringe. And also, like, if you think about it, PK's almost saying, like, I drank. And then when I did dry, I mean, he basically said I got sober. Like, when he dried out, like, he looked around and said, like, this isn't it. I mean, that's almost like, wow, like, were you drinking all these years just to kind of get through the marriage, which a lot of people do, like, no judgment.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. I think so. There's a lot there. A lot of people are speculating on social media that is this now Dorit, where she's finally independent, collecting that check. She's never looked better. And, behind the scenes, there are some things going on with PK financially, and Dorit maybe just doesn't want to share that paycheck. And she's coming up. She's climbed that social ladder. Like she's chilling with people like Kathy Hilton. Like she no longer needs that support from PK because he did open up a lot of doors for her. I mean, he really was her connection to this world. And she's here, she's made it. And now she really doesn't need him. I mean, we'll see where that's going to go. But I do see that speculation on social media.
I could see that. I mean, I have to say, like the night that I told you I hung out with PK at the Boy George concert, which was only in September, I mean, we hung out all night. Like he did not
Yeah.
drink. Like he's like, oh, I'm so jealous of you. Like, look at you with your drink. Like he had during the show, nothing to drink. Then afterwards, he was drinking espresso martinis, but no vodka, just like whatever
Yeah.
that is. I mean,
Yeah.
so he really wasn't drinking and he was fine. Like it wasn't like he was tempted or so he really just from me observing him, he didn't drink that night. So
Yeah.
but I think it's just like a total, yeah, I mean, and I love that, like, I know we're skipping ahead to a different scene, but I love when she does go to Kathy's and, Kathy, have you told the kids? And she's like, no. And Kathy, listen, Kathy just knows everything, right? All wise Kathy
Yeah.
knows. She's just giving that look of like, well, that's a disaster waiting to happen is basically what Kathy's saying,
Yeah. I
you
love that
know?
we're jumping forward because that's how juicy this is. Like we're all over the place because there was substance in every scene.
And I have notes, like, so it's like, but
So
yeah, so she said it was better than ever. What else? Oh, then, well, I mean, you tell me where you want to go. I mean, I
yeah, so
know,
let's
yeah,
jump forward because I have a little behind the scenes tea.
okay.
Let not jump forward. Let's jump back to where we see Jennifer and Sutton in Jennifer's kitchen drinking that old vodka. And you know what I hear? If you keep that vodka in a glass container, it can last forever. So, if
Hmm.
you have an old bottle of vodka, like Jennifer's like, I think this is really old. Should we drink it? And Sutton gives her that face, drink away, baby, because it never ages.
Well, all my
Anyway,
vodka's in the freezer, and I just leave it there.
yeah.
But go on.
So we see them in the kitchen and they're discussing this Salvador Dali party, like this surrealist themed party. And the tea behind the party idea, other than their trip to Spain, is if anyone's familiar with Nikki Hilton, she was married to a Rothschild. And if anyone's familiar with that last name and that family, they're an old aristocratic family. And they're very wealthy, the Rothschilds. And back in the 70s, Baroness Rothschild, she had a surrealist ball. And Salvador Dali himself, which is the artist that Sutton wanted to do this ball after, he himself designed some of those costumes for the Rothschilds party back in the 70s. And it was such a wild party, David. Like Audrey Hepburn was there and
Hmm.
the little suit, like a lot of people were like, what the fuck is this party theme? Like we don't get it. But I mean, it was really like good for Sutton to do that, not just because of her memories in Spain, but it really goes to show, she really is in tune with her artistic side or whatnot. But the Rothschild ball, like that one was so amazing. Like if people want to go Google it and look it up, Sutton wore the deer antlers, and the Baroness that during her party in the 70s, like she had the antlers just like Sutton. But what was really amazing was she had this deer head on during the party, and she had teardrops on her costume, and each teardrop were real diamonds, and these diamonds were like as big as the diamond on the Titanic necklace. Like they were fucking huge, like $1 million diamonds as tears. But it was really avant-garde, and I was like, you go Sutton, throwing a party like that. And it just goes to show where, they always say money talks and wealth whispers, and like people who are very wealthy and very cultured, they wouldn't know the meaning behind a party like this. And I love that Sutton went there. So anyway,
I love that
um,
she went there. I was actually invited to that party, but I did not go. I don't remember why. But I was in LA, but I just couldn't go. But I was invited, so there you go.
yeah, yeah.
I
So she threw that party.
I
She
was gonna
talks about
say
the party.
I also love Jersey never did this. New York does this. I love when like it's so subtle, but I love when these women have complete breakdowns and fights and they are wearing these costumes. New York always does
Oh
it
yeah,
for Halloween. Jersey doesn't really do that, but it's like, I
no.
mean, just you take a step back, you're like, Dorit's in this hat, she's in the antlers, Kyle, and they're